Hello there and welcome to the video. I will be having a look at my 6th round game from the European Club Cup. Most of my recent videos have been from the European Club Cup. You can check them out on my channel. I think I might, put them in a playlist so it's easier to find them. But if you saw my last round game, the 5th round game, I had some problems there. Also in an earlier round, having trouble against d4. I don't really have like an opening that I'm comfortable with, or an opening that I'm happy playing versus people that have prepared against me. So you saw me play accelerated Queen's Indian in an early round. So d4, knight f6. I think he played c4. I played b6. Also, in the 5th round, I really struggled against the Benoni, and I really didn't want to play the Czech Benoni. So of course, I didn't mention who I'm playing. In the 5th round, I lost. My team also lost against the Swedish team. Tough loss because it was kind of an even match that would have given us a chance to go a bit higher in the standings. Important match in such a short tournament, only 7 rounds, but we lost it. But then we got paired against a team from Israel, very strong team. And well, if they didn't rest anybody, I would play against Maxim Rothstein, who has been, I think, Israel's top player. Outside of Boris Galfan, of course. And I think he has been very close to 2700. It's like 2684 or something crazy. Might be in a bit of a slump. Can't remember what his rating is right now. But anyway, he was rested, and I played against Evgeny Postny, who's a very strong Grandmaster as well. And a funny story, actually, one time, when I actually prepared something, I basically copied his game. Would be fun, it would be fun to show that one time. I basically copied exactly what he played against the Banker Gambit, a line with f3, and so I kind of owe him a little bit, but it was not the plan to pay back my debt in this one. But like I said, I wasn't sure what to play, and I ended up, and I was struggling to find, versus what he plays, where I would be comfortable. But in the end, I decided to try something new, both just to not be out prepared to be a sitting duck, and also just to mix things up in the database, so now people don't. It's not as easy. I'm playing a lot of things, and it's more difficult to prepare. And next time, I'll be ready with something different. So I'll play e6 because I'm happy if he plays e4 and we transpose to the French. But he played c4, of course, and d5 as I was planning. And I played this relatively trendy line with a6. And of course, I looked at some games and I had some ideas, but of course I haven't played this almost at all, so I'm not really all that familiar with it. So I kind of looked at some games, hoping I would pick up some ideas, would be able to apply hopefully some of them, and go from there. But okay, he took on d5. One of the main ideas with a6 is you might think about taking and then just play b5. So white generally takes on d5. Took back with a pawn, knight c3, and here the main move is knight f6. But I had seen some games where black goes h6, and it kind of felt, even though we're moving a lot of pawns, it's maybe logical to stop this. But on the other hand, it can be a downside in some lines. But I played h6. Saw some games with Niels Grandelius with this. Carlsen against Shaparinov is one game here, and I looked at those games to try to get some ideas. He played bishop f4, which I think is the main move. Yeah, it's the main move, bishop f4. And I played knight f6. The idea is to play bishop d6 and trade the bishops, but of course the pawn is hanging at the moment, so I'm kind of forced to play knight f6 to protect the pawn and then play bishop d6. So this is basically more or less the idea. And here bishop takes d6 is the main move. That's what I looked at. I looked at some games with, I think, bishop e5, but I did not see a lot of games with knight to e5. So the high level games that I looked at and where I tried to get some ideas, none of them had knight e5. Sorry, actually he played bishop d3 first, and none of them had that as well. And I didn't really want to take on f4. Maybe I should do that. Petrosian against Max Warmerdam. He took on f4 and played bishop g4. I briefly pondered it. I don't know why I didn't do it. Because, well, I guess we're going to take on f3 and castle, and then he doesn't have knight e5 to use the e5 square. And I think the knights can be actually quite useful in such a structure. I might maneuver this knight. For some reason I would like to have it on d6, to cover a lot of squares. So maybe I should have played like this. Maybe something I'll look at with the computer, but I ended up castling here. And then he played knight e5. And now we kind of started a little bit with the, oh no, don't know what I'm doing. Kind of missed this idea. It's a simple idea. It's like an idea you play in London. You play knight e5, then you play bishop here, f4, castles, and you go for mate. You can transfer the rook to the third rank. You can use the queen on the third rank. A lot of ideas. And I didn't know what to do. So I want to delete more commentary. Thank you. No, I don't want to do that. So I looked at some games afterwards, and those that have reached this position very well through a different move order probably. They played rook e8 and then tried to play c5, castles and c5. One game by Max Warmerdam and one game by Wang Yu, who was very strong. But I played knight b to d7. I'm still not trying to take on e5, so bishop g3. Now I'm trying to take on e5, but now he has f4. And he set up this nice attacking formation with a knight on e5, which is a bit scary because I can never take my d5 pawn would hang. And how do I finish the development? I mean, I don't want the knight on b6, do I? And even if I do that, where does the bishop go? So in the end, I decided I'm going to play b6. Maybe I should play b5, but I play b6. Okay, I'm not worried about this. I'll just move the queen and then bishop b7. He loses the tempo back. And I'm happy, but he plays queen f3, bishop b7, bishop h4. And he's basically getting, all he wants. He set up this, knight on e5 and this pawn formation, this kind of stonewall formation, and this bishop is out of the cage there, and he's much better out here. So white has a very nice attacking setup. He can even, not castle yet, and start pawn storming with g4. My idea was to try to, with a bishop on b7, I wanted to try to get some control over the e4 square. So I need to unpin the knight. So I'll play queen e8. He castled, bishop b4. Again, trying to get some control here. Rook c1. I gave up the bishop pair to try to get some control over e4. But all of this is basically not working. I played bishop f5. And I thought, the whole idea of taking on c3 was to get this e4 square. And actually it worked out in the game. He doesn't really have all that great of a choice here, but it took on e4, which I should have been quite happy with, and I was, but not for the reason I thought, because I did not at all see that he could have played bishop f6, which is a thunder move. And I might be in big trouble here. I can't take it because queen h5, threatening to take. And if I protect, he'll play the jack. Then he'll take the knight and play rook f6, threatening mate. And this is basically game over if the queen h4. So take and checkmate. I think queen c6 or something to avoid mate, but this is completely lost. So I can't take the bishop, and in fact bishop f6, black is in big trouble. So I got off the hook here. My time was much worse, but we were, you know, it was getting a little bit closer, but still some time trouble on my side. But I wasn't too unhappy with this. Okay, now he's threatening bishop f6, I saw that, so I played king h7, and he took the pawn to c5. I saw I had to sacrifice the pawn, but I was quite happy to get this, you know, after facing, if we go back, I felt like I was facing a pretty huge attack here. And I wasn't sure where my play was coming from. So to get to where we eventually got with this one, I was super happy. I mean, I gave up one pawn, but okay, the pawn is doubled. It's not a huge difference. We have opposite colored bishops. He does have this 2 against 1, but I figured it's going to be really hard to make that count if I keep the right pieces on. For instance, if we trade all the rooks, he's never going to queen. So I was confident that, you know, I could fight for a draw here, even though I was down the clock. And here I had to take a decision, and I think I took the wrong one. Took with the queen. And yeah, I was getting really low on the clock here, but should have maybe just taken with the bishop, because who cares about this pawn? Even if he wins it, my bishop on e6 is just huge. And I don't think he can break through if I have my bishop on e6, actually. It's going to be really hard. But I took on c8, and I saw this, and I had to see this. Otherwise I would have taken with the bishop. But I thought it would not be a problem. He can take on f7, but I thought I would be happy there. I would give him this check, and okay, if the king comes out, to just check, so he has to come back. I think I was planning to take on b2, and now he has to move the bishop, and he can't, you know, threaten mate here because I can take on e5. I thought this would be okay. I think the computer doesn't agree, and that's why it prefers bishop takes c8, but he played bishop d6. I haven't looked at why rook takes f7 kind of might work, but apparently it should give white something, but I didn't see it during the game. I thought it would be okay for me. Anyway, he played bishop d6, and now I thought, okay, I mean, it's difficult for him. I'm getting active here, and I was even getting, you know, ideas of him trying to hard, and maybe I could, you know, penetrate on the c file, get the rook in. But okay, I started with rook c3, rook d1, bishop c6. Still don't see like a clear plan for him, but here, yeah, I was in time trouble, of course, so I played rook d3. Not sure it's the best move, but I don't think he can take. Well, he can't take. I get a pass pawn here, my queen comes here, so I play rook c4, bishop b5, the rook gets in, but wasn't too worried. And here my rook gets to f1, so again, entertaining some ideas of maybe my queen getting into his position. But here I did not play the best move. I think if I just, you know, temporize, play the bishop, maybe the rook, maybe bishop d7, just to block every idea he has, such as rook e7, then maybe I'm okay. But I missed that. This is quite strong. And yeah, it was a very good find by my opponent. Moving the g-pawn looks super risky. Did not want to do that. Yeah, I think it just comes back around bishop e7, bishop f6. And I'm basically toast. So I played this move, stopping the mate, but now he has a very strong move, e6. And I don't have a very pleasant choice here. If I take it, which I didn't, he's going to take with check. And where do I go? Where do I go? What do I do? Maybe this wasn't like super bad. What didn't I? I mean, computer doesn't like this, but yeah, I'm gonna lose another pawn. That's probably why I didn't like it. And he's gonna get 2 connected passers. Yeah. I'm too slow to pick up stuff on the queen side. But it was very hard to figure all this out. In time trouble, I went with rook f6. I think the computer said this was the lesser evil in the position. But of course, he's getting a protected pass pawn. I was hoping that, okay, you know, his bishop is tied down. Maybe he's inactive, but he played very actively here, g4. And why did I played h5, which gives up a pawn, which is too timid. Like, looking at it now, I mean, the computer side is completely lost, I think. But I mean, what's his threat? h4, h5. Still have king f6. I don't know. Maybe I played some, you know, this was towards the end of the time control. And I guess I gave him too much here, so probably I need to find another move here. You know, just wait around somehow. The thing is, I wanted to play f6 and bring the king, but then he can maybe queen and take on g7. Yeah, I was kind of losing the threat here anyway, so I guess this is the final mistake, but I'm not sure how bad it is. It's probably lost, but like looking at it now, it's, and I'm talking about this one. It's probably lost somehow, you know, bring the king to f4, h4, h5, improve. But anyway, I made it easier for him here, and when we reach the time control, king g3 actually just resigned. You know, he's going to bring the king to f4 and just improve. a4 starts picking up stuff, and basically a waste of time to play on against this caliber of player. So I resigned. My second loss in a row, third loss of the tournament. So I had only one. No, I had 2 points. Yeah, I had 2 points out of 6. Not ideal, but like not horrible. I lost. There was one draw where I felt I got really unlucky, and the loss in the 5th round. Okay, I mean, evenly matched opponent, and I had the black pieces, so nothing out of the ordinary. But still, I would have liked to have done better. We still have the last round game to cover, and that one was quite interesting. So hope you stayed tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Didn't really have too much to say about this one, but a little bit of the same. You know, didn't have very good openings, and my attitude was perhaps a bit too negative. When if I had just, you know, played the position, not thought too much about my opponent, I think I should have been able to draw this. It's not a lot that White has to work with. But okay, such is life, and we live and we learn, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.